So I've just been reviewing this video that I put about Jake Davison, this serial killer in Plymouth. This occurred it was last year, was it not? Yeah, 2021. And I was kind of like trying to pair it with or like establish the causes of that in Tory austerity, and why the diminishment of someone's socioeconomic circumstances may inhibit them getting laid, why the lack of being able to get laid because your socioeconomic circumstances might lead you to going mad in one way or another and causing chaos and killing people in Plymouth, for instance. And I'm just driven to think of this austerity mentality now. And this is just the most poisonous thing for healthy economies. We've got to tighten the belt and everyone to pull yourself up by your bootstraps, and but everyone got to scrimp and save because costs are going up. Like, that's murder. That is murder for the economy. Like, no, goods and services need to be provided cheaply, ideally, like at reasonable prices. So, everyone, say on the supply chain of producing, say, milk in Tesco's is fairly remunerated. From the checkout worker to the person in the bottling plant, to the person in the pasteurization and processing plant, to the tanker driver, to the herdsman, to the farm manager, to the farm owner. Everyone needs to get their cut. Okay? So, like, that is the best system. And really, like, in terms of farm manager being paid more than like the head herdsman or whatever, or the herdsman, or frankly the checkout worker, even possibly, like, why does one person deserve more money than the other one? Like, fair enough, if they're working more hours, they probably deserve more money because it's a bigger commitment in terms of time. But in terms of expertise, I suppose each one like kind of has a different level or array of expertise, don't they? And if you try to like establish this doctrine of austerity, stop people spending money, you'll kill the economy. It's been like tried again and again. It's actually the root of it is in like prohibitionist thinking and so-called temperist thinking. This group of like religious nut jobs in the United States, they took the idea of temperance from the seven deadly sins, which does not mean like asceticism. It doesn't mean like not drinking alcohol ever. Like, that's not temperance. Okay? Temperance means like have a few drinks at the end of the day and relax. That is temperance. Intemperance, excess, that's like having 10 drinks at the end of the day. That's excessive. But all you people are like, I drink like 2 glasses of wine a week. It's like, maybe I believe you. I'm terrified that I believe you. That is grotesque. I allow myself just 2 glasses of wine. Just stop drinking entirely then. By the way, like, stop drinking water while you're at it because you don't deserve any. Drink, you freaks. You're not trying to be Christians. You're trying to be like pure Christians. Like the perfect Christian. That's what you're all trying to be. Just stop it. Because, like, guess what? In the seven deadly sins, got a big trap for you people. Pride. Be roasted in hell for the shit you're up to. And like everything you don't even notice, all the taking of the Lord's name in vain, all that shit. Oh, so trying to supervene the power of the Almighty. Da 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 da. Hell, fire for eternity. Well done. I would be proud of you. No, your parents wouldn't be proud of you. Or maybe they would, but they'd be like getting skinned alive in hell beside you people. So there's that to consider. Like, you're not proper Christians. You're just like phony fucking baloney. Like, oh no, I'm a Christian. It's like putting on like a facade of it. Basically lying. I take the Lord's name in vain. Like, take the Lord's name seriously. You need to like put in like a bit of serious consideration into what the monotheistic God of the Judaistic of the Judeo-Christian traditions amounts to. That goes back to Akhenaten, a pharaoh of ancient Egypt in the second millennium BCE. Like Judaism arose in the first century BCE. As a result of that, I would have suspected, since Christianity arose as a Jewish diaspora out of Egypt, slave revolt, right? Was it Ramesses? Apparently, I don't actually know the history well enough, but like got a rough idea of it. Akhenaten started that shit. He's either an idiot, a loon, or a genius. But like, fuck though. I've unleashed catastrophe. Or perhaps we can rein this catastrophe in, like the work of Baruch Spinoza, and bit of deference to Greek pantheism or polytheism, I should say, and like, yeah, like incorporate it and say that the polytheistic elements are elements or parts of an overriding pantheism, since the Greek traditions ultimately arose, I suspect, out of the Jewish diaspora and that kind of cross-cultural communication and the incorporation of Judaic intellectual discourse via the Septuagint in the 4th century BCE, at the early days of Greece, then Rome, obviously, and like Greek religion gets Romanized. You know, Zeus changes to Jupiter and whatnot, and then Christianity kind of embeds itself into the Roman psyche by hook or crook. And that all the Romans, like, at the beginning, like, oh, we're Jewish, we follow the King of the Jews. Like, it's of the same origin. Lions are going to eat you now in the Colosseum. And maybe Caligula shouldn't have done that shit. And yeah, in that instance, like, maybe a bit of finger wagging, like, is appropriate. But, like, the Christian, so-called, will love to go like, won't they? I can't stop doing that. Like sex. Well, if we don't have sex, how are we going to repopulate when the olds die? Never. You're taking something from the monastic tradition of Christianity and Judaic thinking and Jewish thinking, and you're applying it to everyone. You haven't read the entire Bible. You don't know enough about religion, generally speaking, to be able to like be making that sort of statement. You're trying to set yourself up as a priest or a lay preacher or something, and you're foolish. You're breaking the commandment that says you shouldn't take the Lord's name in vain. Like, taking like Lord's name, I spoke to God. You speak to God. You speak to me. I'm part of a system that is necessarily part of any system that could be categorized in as all powerful and all knowing and all loving, etc. Although I include moral in loving. I think I must. I don't like. I wouldn't pretend to know the truth and nature of love entire, but I'm damn certain sound moral thinking is involved in love. So, like, okay, I'm not all powerful. I would never make that claim. However, I am part of something I believe that is all powerful, i.e., the universe. So, like, I can speak to God. That's a pretty banal statement, isn't it? Banality of evil. Speak to God is like, you can speak to me. I'll try and shoot you down in flames with your stupidity. How are you going to face up with that? Like, Christopher Hitchens is also God. He's made of God. He's like a bit of God. He's like, well, he's like a hair on God's head, isn't he? Or less than that, a cell in God's body. Probably the brain. Like, probably the brain that controls drinking. At this point in my life, if I ever met Christopher Hitchens, I would tease him a little bit, I think. And he'd probably be like, don't be so fucking serious, yo. Don't be. Young man, you're talking about something so serious today. Like, I believe that the crucifixion was an elaborate stag to practice. Well, it means you're religious. So. I have been raised with this shit. We all have. And actually, like, my earliest memories of Christianity, so like, I think a guy walked on water, and I thought of the cattle grid, like, going, like, beyond my house. There's a road, like, track, or a road basically leading from my farmhouse, my farmhouse, I grew up to the lane, up the lane to the main road. Cattle grid, like, walking on water. It's probably something like walking on a cattle grid, isn't it? Like, you're walking on, like, walking on water. What does on mean? Like, it's not exactly on water, is it? It's not like above the water. It's like Jesus was walking on water. Why on? Like, I suppose, like, okay, so say, like, if that were to flood, but you're supported by a metal structure, so it's like, but it's flood just like the right extent, yeah, you'd be walking on water. And, like, walking on water, that's so unusual, actually. Because I mean, like, it's wet ground. Walking on water, like, yeah, you're walking on water often. If it's like a road and it's rainy. No, I'm walking. Did I actually think that? I don't think I did think that at any point. Like, walking on water, like, but a damp street. So, well, I'm clearly walking on water. Water is beneath me, beneath my feet. I am walking on it. I'm not like walking in through a puddle, in which case I'd be like walking in water. They mistranslated the Coptic Greek. Like, they wrote it ineptly. And I bet he just built a pier. Like, some structure made of wood with a carpenter and that was a fisherman buddies get in the sea. Cali. That's all.